Me, Funkin versus eteleD Homebrew, baby. It's actually updated Pico mixes, so that's gonna be this dev commentary sort of thing. We're going to start off, before even getting to the actual Pico mix stuff, we're gonna start off with all the stuff that's here. Oh yeah, this is on normal difficulty. You know, we're doing this on hard difficulty, making our lives miserable. I actually played all of this. I played all the songs in Boif's server before recording this. So, let's get right into it. Starting off with this. Now, before I even start the song, I'm going to have to explain why this is here. This song, it's one of my personal favorites from Week Revenge, but my friend, Orpal, longtime guest of the channel, has despised this song for a while because I kept picking it in Row FNF games. So it's like, what's the funniest way I could rage bait my friend? And that's when I came up with this. And now this thing even has its own kind of lore that it's going to be recorded here. So let's get right into it. Oh yeah, and to throw fuel to the fire, you have to hit those axe notes or else you lose quite a bit of health. Oh man, I'm such a toxic rage baiter sometimes.
3, 2, 1, go!
So that version of eteleD, it's like got a bunch of numbers in it instead of the usual just like letters. The whole point of him is that he's a corrupted like version of eteleD that now can just transcend the multiverse and looks for various versions of BF and GF to use as practice to kill, which is what leads us to the quote-unquote defect versions. All of these characters are separate to the original versions in a sense. Defect, GF, and BF are a more snarky couple compared to the regular BF and GF. But that also means they're slightly more intelligent than the original GF and BF. And alright. God, I hate the beat slice. Like the way the beat slice feels compared. Like, beat slice feels miserable to play compared to regular. Now, initially with, I'm like losing the train of thought. I'm so glad I decided to do this. This is a genuinely cool song. I really want to make pause music for this thing. So, next update, if you check back on Rejected, and you hear... Next update, you expect Rejected pause music to change. Maybe be based off of some of the content I have for Minus Massacre. Considering that, if you couldn't tell from the fact that the axe is glowing red and it's floating off of eteled's, like, arm, yeah, that's based off the original Minus eteleD, which is being, kind of brought back for Minus Massacre. Yeah, TLDR, he's trying to find BF and GFs to practice his kills on. The defect BF and GF are literally there, just a more snarky version, and are separate from the original couple.
3, 2, 1, go!
Now, this is where I get to talk about the actual sprite remakes. The reason why I remade the sprites was because in the original mod, like the original, Volume 1, before reprogrammed, they felt a lot more lifeless to me, and it didn't have as much character as I wanted it to, in terms of, like, the poses and whatnot. They were, like, really lazy. So I decided, Pico Mix, perfect opportunity to completely overhaul the sprites and, like, fix my main issues with them. Although, the failed code team did mention that they didn't like the sharper, like, shoulders. They thought it was like a more daddy dearest thing. That's personally just my style though. Like, they aren't necessary, but I could see why you would think it's kind of a part of the design. But if I were to describe the rougher, like, shoulders and the holes on the clothing, I would describe it as, what is essentially the equivalent of, tufts and, like, tears and whatnot. They aren't, like, it's not tearing through the, like, sort of, clothing thing, but, like, the folds are enough to where it is causing, like, tufts to show off on the shoulders. And with GF's singular shoulder having that kind of point, it's kind of like, and I've stated this before with BF and GF, their designs are based off of the original Nintendo Wii. While Wiki says it's like Switch in the limitations, the Switch is a lot less limited compared to the Wii. The Wii is the most limited in terms of what you can do with your Miis, since there's only like 8 hair colors. Yeah, that's why BF's hair is gray. And that GF also has a nose, like the two-hole nose. Oh, I never mentioned this with eteleD. Like, BF's pants are blue because they're transfer me. This is also noted on my resurfaced hard drive designed for eteleD. GF's pants are red, that's the favorite me. But I've never talked about eteleD's pants, and I'm going to save that for deprecation just so that it's a little bit more notable, and also because this song is literally just about to end. Deprecation retake. This is where I get to actually talk about this.
3, 2, 1,
The reason why eteleD's pants are white in here is because eteleD's kind of glitched between normal state and then the parade state, which can be accessed by dragging a Mii to the parade. Mii's in the parade have silver, like, white pants, and that's kind of what's going on here. eteleD is in a glitch in-between state, where he's not a part of the parade, but he has, like, the pants to show that he is, in fact, part of the parade. It's this in-between state. And as for the cybernetic eye, no, I don't think that would make sense. I was too young to learn how to do stuff like, hacking a tree. What more likely would have happened is Austin would have probably ripped his eye out, and Henry would have probably found, like, spare parts to turn the eye into a more cybernetic one. The reason why it glows red is probably just, like, a setting. Initially, GF was holding a Wiimote-based speaker, but I decided to opt for just an actual Wiimote because in Homebrew'd, I would imagine that GF was the one to drag eteleD to the delete icon in order to protect BF. Which, now that I bring it up, we actually do need to get a story going. Oh, for those that actually played the demo, that's the reason why eteled's axe is blue, is because the demo thing, the logo was just the Mii Function logo, but blue, so I just, you know what, why not? We're making the axe blue now. I don't think anyone, like, really noticed that, but eteled's eye, when he's, like, in this state, actually has a small gradient matching his, sort of sweaterish color. The main one, not the accent thing that also comes from the pants. Editor, by the way, point out every single fear and confusion, motif. I had no idea they did this. Most of what I was doing was just making the music and the sprites and sending it to them so I'd put it together. I had no idea they actually did this, which I'm honestly really happy they did, because that's actually kinda cool. Now, if only they had, like, a way of making it, like, black and white. Like, this Dev Commentary isn't just to talk about the mod. It's also kind of to give my opinions on what could be done in future updates. Because, yes, I'm a part of the team, I ain't actually coding for crap, though. This is also in the deprecation Pico mix, that I should probably bring this up. That ending bits that you heard, as well as, like, earlier in the song, it's the same, like, chord pattern as, like, Overture, like, the grid, and all that sort of stuff related to... I'll better point it out in, deprecation Pico mix. Which, speaking of moving on, augmented reprogram! That Austin icon is supposed to be everywhere now, because it literally is just adding one thing that I missed.
3, 2, 1, go!
God. Like, this is stated in the chat of, the actual, like, thing, the live chat that happened, but my, like, dev team members actually really like this intro thing I came up with for, augmented. And quite frankly, this is what makes it, this is like, yeah, this was one of those things where it's like, I wanted augmented to feel very different. And I went for a more heroic approach sort of thing, because Austin, across a multitude of, creepypastas, is like this anti-hero sort of thing. So that heroism, kind of fits for Austin's, style, like personality almost. Dude, I'm gonna be honest, that sound effect I used to transition to this part, I literally got it from the frickin' Forgiveness FLP, like Forgiveness V1, and it works on so many levels, especially here, so yeah. I am honestly tempted for like a mini update or like a one-shot thing to try and get my team to not my team. I'm literally just a part of the team. I'm gonna be honest, the hallway here doesn't fit as well. So in the Pico mix, you're gonna see what the hallway now looks like. Back to this. You will notice the post-mortal motifs in here. Like, I'd rather post-mortal motifs over Dream of Peace motifs, which is why you don't hear many at all in any of the songs. Because I try to avoid them as much as possible. Alright. This part was just a fun thing to mess around with the glitching for Austin. There's so much that could have done here, like super saturating it. Like, genuinely. Like, I would have loved to see a bit more, like, there's so much that could be there. Like, I joined this team, this was a fun thing, but now I'm, like, unlocking its potential. Like, I'm helping unlock the maximum potential it has. Like, Austin here. Austin's more damaged. I never brought this up, but Austin's more damaged because Austin, I'd like to imagine Austin had a bit more injuries than just the shoulder pauldron, especially if he had to, like, block or catch eteleD's axe on a plethora of occasions. I'm gonna bring this up in Stack Overflow. There's too little time in this song left to bring it up here, because I have to move on to Homebrew'd. Speaking of Homebrew'd, this is where I get to actually answer one particular question that never got answered. Why here does eteleD's eyes just go completely black if he had a cybernetic eye the entire time? Well, the answer is simply put, this is actually that state where Henry can actually... This is a hallucination, essentially. People, like... This, like... what you would actually see if it was an hallucination, you would still see the cybernetic eye, but the other eye would be completely blacked out. Henry's hallucinations are so strong, it breaches the console, and it makes it look like the actual eye is completely black as well, with the outlines representing the cybernetics. Like, it does imply that Henry still exists, as the wiki says, but it's a hallucination making it think it's gone, when in reality it never disappeared, and yeah, it's all in your head. Which is why you also get to see it in Stack Overflow, because while Austin inherently isn't affected by this hallucination, we're not playing this through Austin's eyes. Honest, I really like the idea of giving Bia and Gia freckles here. It kind of just fits with the idea that they're the couple here. This is something that I've noticed, like, the reason, like, the wiki says it's based on the Switch, when the Switch is actually not that limited if you just click the more options. It's based off the original Nintendo Wii, which never had those options, due to hardware limitations. And the whole brownish tint was kind of just to match with the new background in the Pico mixes, which oh, this part here. I actually made it to reference Molten, made by my buddy GameMax for Resurface Hard Drive. While stuff like Homebrew'd and like all that references the original versus eteleD, I made this reference Molten from Resurface Hard Drive, which is my eteleD mod. One of my plans potentially is to have these two have Homebrew'd and Resurface Hard Drive go up against each other at one point. Funny little pixel icon for like no reason. It was kind of fun. Time for the longest song in the entire mod so far, because this thing actually has an extra minute, basically. When it was like just 8 minutes, and then now it's like practically 9. Which we tried faking in the live chat. If you couldn't tell, I really like rage baiting. I honestly really like what I did for Austin's playable sprites, making them distinguishable from the original. I already know some people are going to, like, dude, the left pose, I already know people are going to, they're going to find a way to meme. I already know the left pose is especially gonna get memed on. The up pose, I can see it happening as well, but it's definitely the left pose that they're going to, I'm pretty sure it was called mewing, right? That's what it's gonna get memed on, like the left pose. Either that or it's gonna get compared to Black Imposter. In the original Stack Overflow, I'm gonna be honest, I did not like that they decided to keep just the glitched chromatics throughout the entire song. So that's what I changed here especially. Ignore the Sweet Dreams thing going on in the instrumental. We're about to get to the actual cool part. Alright, insert Blue Dream from Cymatics. Yeah, thank you, Cymatics, for existing, because the Blue Dream thing, which is also heard in Boxing Match and, funnily enough, Blue Dream, I actually threw that in this song, quite frankly, because I wanted the excuse to have, like, some form of clout, but the Blue Dream thing worked really well, because it kind of... Blue Dream just works when it comes to, like, duet moments of, like, intensity building up. And that's what I was going for. Like, a lot of this is just me yammering, but there will be some genuine facts that, we could throw in. Like, for example, I'm trying to remember what I had as as Fear and Confusion motifs. Because Fear and Confusion is the original cutscene, like, music. I remember, like, looking at the Game Banana, seeing some people not particularly, like, be a fan of these thematics. It's got a nice charm to them. Like, I used to not like them as well, but they've grown on me over time. I could definitely FC all of these songs if it wasn't for these godforsaken mobile controls. Alright, that's part 1 done. On to part 2 with probably... Alright, now we introduce the Oracle Dark Melody, which is heard in the Rejected Ref Mix. I'm not even joking when I say this. Like, quite frankly, like... I wanted this section, rather than to stick to some of the original elements of the thing, I wanted it to just be an entire, yeah. This is like the whole, I'm settling this here and now thing you may have heard in Memory of Peace if you listen to the System Overload OST. A vast majority of the songs after after Entrapment, which literally is just the same, like, it's the same thing but slower and some more varying in the patterns and ins. If this gets added to any Row FNF game, I'm gonna just say this now, if this gets added, I'm not sure if it will, that's up to the other dev, but if this gets added, I'm looking at you, Funky Friday. Get rid of the original versus eteleD from your game, and we'll allow it. If you don't get rid of it, like, you are sin, because, if you're not gonna add motion control, and if you're gonna remove Void Chronicles, then remove the original versus eteleD. Both Chris and Evilman have been, like, they've had allegations. I'm getting frustrated for no reason. TLDR, just... due to the controversy surrounding the original mod, get rid of it, please. Like, and then we'll allow Homebrew to be added. I honestly really like the shenanigans I pulled off with Austin's glitchy sprites. Dude, that roaring guitar. Yeah, the roaring guitar within the instrumental when it gets to those intense sections. The strings, the piano, like... Oh, this is my personal favorite reprogram mix that I've made. My personal favorite song in the entire thing was Rejected because it is just pure rage bait for one of my friends. And then, Homebrew'd Pico Mix is gonna be my favorite. You're gonna hear. It's my favorite Pico Mix. I can't wait for, like, the dev trivia, where we go over the trivia of what the devs consider their favorite. Alright, we're on to the end of the song, which has one little last bit just to be annoying. I have no idea what happened. I can't tell if there was supposed to be a down arrow or if it was just glitched and it was on the wrong column. But that happened. I don't think I've ever seen that before, so that's fun. It was probably just a rare glitch. Alright, now we're gonna move on to the actual meat and bone of what this update was. That was all the dessert stuff. I just gave the extra treats because I felt like it and I wanted to take my own chances at these songs, which we are now on to Entrapment Pico Mix. Nene looks relatively accurate to original self and just has the normal colored pants. We've already talked about eteleD plenty. But Pico looks like that for a couple of reasons. One, the orange pants. The orange pants are actually from the Check Me Out channel. The Check Me Out channel, your pants are usually blue. But if you like someone's knee, the pants are actually orange. Which means the only colors I don't think have, like, a proper representation in the channel, in the Wii. I think it's just green pants. Yeah, green pants, and then, purple pants. Because we have red, orange, and yellow. Oh, audio error. But Pico has brown hair and the weird, like, beard sort of thing going on. The brown hair was actually because I found an FNF mod based around, like, it's its own retake of the original base FNF, and Pico actually has brown hair there. Editor put that up on screen. Yeah, editor put that on screen. And then I went with pink instead of white for Nene because PS is already wearing white and has blue to complement it. Am I even... Oh, I was playing on normal! I just realized, wait a second! If I wasn't playing on hard, I was playing on normal. Well, yeah. Editor, Deltarune explosion me right now. Pico's design is because of an older FNF retake mod. We're just gonna actually play hard mode now. I may actually play all the other difficulties and whatnot just so I have ranks on all of them. But But yeah, dude, the whole... This was noted... The devs noticed this before I could point it out, but Pico's atolls almost turn him into swing, like, rhythm every now and then. This is probably due to the way that I have them set up, but honestly, it's kind of cool, so we're probably just gonna leave it at that. did I explain the eyebrows as well? I don't think I have yet. And I was about to try to explain the weird beard thing, but the song was getting close to ending, and I realized that I was on the wrong difficulty. Pico's, weird beard thing was actually kind of inspired by Void Shaggy, which, literally, everyone in Artifact and Nan is to the surprise of nobody. Yeah, literally surprised no one. And then, I guess the skin for Pico also kind of explained, it was also based off of that, Pico that I found. And then finally, the eyebrows based off of an Among Us an Among Us, cosmetic. That's literally all you have to say. Deprecation Pico Mix has the same thing as the, other thing with Deprecation Reprogrammed, and it has that, like, Tron Legacy sort of, progression. Time for Augments in Pico, which I never brought this up in the album cover because I keep forgetting this stuff! Austin's pose, which isn't very visible, actually, now that I think about it. That pose in the album cover is actually kind of inspired off of, Void TKO. Another to the surprise of nobody moments for Artifact and Nan. Let's get on with this.
3, 2, 1, go!
Oh yeah, now I can talk about this. Or to the surprise of nobody for other people that I've worked with. The shape on Austin's joints, the new one here and not the old one, they're based off the control program disc from Tron areas. So, yeah. Rage baiting my friend with Rejected and plenty of Tron-inspired, elements. I'll probably have a list of everything at the end of the video. Like, once I play the last song. Yeah, that cabinet there that is, almost practically destroyed. Rather than Austin being angry and just breaking it himself, he slammed eteleD into it and it actually caused a hole in it. And honestly, I'm gonna be surprised if, future updates, all the normal stuff, non-Pico stuff, actually, if this background, at the very least, I would like this background to make it to the normal stuff, because, the old background just does not fit, at all. Oh, when I got the initial gameplay thing from, Dev, Austin's, offset was a little higher, actually, which meant that Austin's foot could actually be, like, Austin's foot was too high, like, the left foot the left foot from his perspective, like, Austin's perspective would be the left foot, but our perspective is the right, but Austin's foot actually was too high, and you could actually see the crates. You could see the medical box thing, or whatever it is. You could see it through the bottom of Austin's foot at that time. Let's do this. Starting with the section where it's based off of the original, song. which is literally just the beginning. Alright, now we move on to the actual meat of the thing. Now it's the rest of the song is just industry programs and sort of style for Pico. What else is there? Oh yeah, the loop that I actually use, which is very hidden. It's very hidden and reprogrammed, because it's a slightly different version of it. But here it's a little more obvious because it's got the other accompaniment, like the vocals. But I actually used this specific Liberty loop here. Yeah, this specific Liberty loop actually was used in KO Man, which made by More Void. More Void-related content reference. Like, to the surprise of nobody. Like, there's definitely been stuff that's influenced me, making these songs and whatnot. Like, and Void's, like, saying it's more matte-based. But no, like, the slightly different version of the loop that I use here, it makes it sound just that slight bit more, speedy and, like, energetic. There's just gonna be quite a few. There's gonna be a couple things that we're gonna have to bring up. Alright, one more song. This is where the rest of the Tron references are. Alright, time for this. This is the last song in the entire thing. So shiny. And now this part here, the weird, like, high-pitched instrument, like, almost synthetic, it's almost like a synthetic xylophone here. It's actually referencing In It right now by 9 Inch Nails. And then you could hear the initial, like, stuff that Entrapment High Quality was. Now we're on to As Alive As You Could Need Me To Be. Give me something to believe in. This is a bit of a gambit here. Yeah. And then I referenced Augmented with the loop at the very end of that. And the instrumental's still referencing 9 Inch Nails. The Tron franchise has just been my favorite franchise, and it's been referenced quite a bit this update here. And now we're back to nowhere to run plus inits, which kind of works. I have no idea why. Alright, that's the end of the song. Go home, folks. As it goes back to normal. That's all for the dev commentary. Make sure to play all the Volume 1 stuff if you haven't as well. And, Orpal, you have been trolled, you've been trolled. Yes, you've probably been told, don't reply to this guy, he's just trying to get a rise out of you. Yes, it's true.